It's binary to decimal conversion, how to convert a number like 10 to its binary form. All right, so that's our outline. Let's go and get started. First, we're going to talk about some definitions. First one is decimal. When we say the number decimal, we think of a system of numbers in arithmetic based on the number 10, tenth parts, and powers of 10. So it's basically the stuff you learned since kindergarten or pre-K. And then it starts all over, 10, 11, 12, 13. These are standard numbers, except for that when we talk about in this lecture, the next series of lectures, we're only going to go from 0 through 255, and then that's going to be our max number. Okay. Next, binary, a number system based on either a 1 or a 0. So, for instance, 8 ones or okay, it's just ones or zeros. That's all you've got in a binary number. Next, an octet. An octet is a group of 8 binary numbers. An octet really is an 8 of anything, but when we say an octet, we're going to mean 8 binary numbers. Okay, so this is one octet. This is another octet, a second octet. Okay. Next, IP address version 4. 32 binary numbers grouped into 5 categories. So first we've got 32 binary numbers. Let me draw that out. Uh-oh, run out of space here. Okay, so I've got 32 numbers there. Based on 4 sets of octets. Okay, so here's one set, there's another set, another set, another set. So there's 4 sets. Commonly identified, the 5 categories. I forgot the 5 categories. The categories are going to be known as A, B, C, D, and E. Commonly identified as decimal numbers for simplicity. So because computers think in ones and zeros, computers can see this just fine. You know, they know exactly what that is. But us, we have a harder problem trying to read, or even just tell you, hey, number 1000000. For us, it'd be easier to say 192.255.255.192. Okay, it's easier for us to say 3 decimal numbers instead of saying 1000000.1111111.11111. It's just easier for us to say 3 decimal numbers, okay? But the computer doesn't see 192. The computer sees 1000000. Okay? All right. The last one is INA, the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority. This is who registers the IP addresses, and when we get to the second portion of this lecture, we'll talk more about the INA. Any questions with definitions? No? Moving along. All right, so this is an IP address. The IP address is 4 sets of numbers. Okay? In a single IP address, any one of these octets can be the number of 0 through 255, as we see right there. And in decimal form, it's always 3 numbers, but 001 is the same thing as just 1. Okay? But in reality, there are 3 numbers up there. Okay? Just got to remember that the extra zeros go in the front, because if it was 1010, then it would actually be 10, not 1. Correct? All right, so this is the same as that. So this number is the same as this number. Give me a number between 0 through 255. 192. Give me a number between 0 and 255. 210? Give me a number between 0 and 255. And a number between 0 to 255? 198. Ooh, I like it. Y'all made your numbers hard. I would have picked 2. All right, so we're going to take these numbers here. 192. I forgot them already. 210. You're going to be good in this class. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to convert 192 into a binary form. Okay? So how to convert a decimal number into a binary number. And to do that, we use this chart right here. Okay? And it's very simple. Go ahead and draw it out. You're going to need this for the rest of your training. You're going to need a pencil, by the way. You're going to go grab them real quick?
I got a pen.
Oh, okay.
Just caught me off guard. That's the problem.
Okay, okay. Would you mind giving him a sheet of paper, please? He'll give you 10 cents, don't worry. No, I'm just kidding.
It will be 25.
Oh, 25 cents. Supply and demand. You've got the demand, she's got the supply. Okay, so we have 8 boxes. We'll draw 8 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And at this point, I need to do something really quick. Hit record there. Okay? Now draw 8 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In those 8 boxes, you want to write 1 on the far right and just double it up every time. Double of 1 is 2, double of 2 is 4, double of 4 is 8, 16, 32, 64, and then 128. Okay? Could you zoom in some more? Could you zoom in some more? Make it smaller, yeah. See, now I can actually see it. All right, so in these, right under these numbers, we're going to enter a value. The value is going to be either a 1 or a 0. 1 equals on, 0 equals off. Okay? So these are the 2 values that we're going to enter. And the way you use this chart is very simple. Okay? There's multiple ways to do it, but it's a very simple process of verifying or achieving your numbers here. We have to find a combination of numbers here to add up to the decimal number. For instance, if we're looking for the decimal number 10, what numbers there can we add together to get 10? 8 and 2. So we would use 8 and we would use 2, and that equals 10. And there's no other combination here that we can do to get 10. Okay? And that works the same for all the numbers between 0 to 255. So for 10, this would be our binary number. 0 means we're not going to use it. 1 means we're going to use the 8 and we're going to use the 2. And we're going to get 10. Okay? Simple enough? So what if I wanted the number 0? What numbers would I use? None. So if I'm looking for 0, in binary form, it would be 8 zeros. 8 zeros equals 0. Okay? If I was looking for the number 1, what would be my binary number? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, so you learn how to use the chart. It's very simple, right? All right. So what if I did this? What do you think this would be? How'd you get 255? Did you add them up really fast? Like a beautiful mind, you saw the numbers? Because it's the max, right? I told you earlier, I gave you a clue. I said you can get any number between 0 to 255. Okay. So he's not an evil genius. He just paid attention. But yeah, if you add all of these numbers together, it equals 255. And this is the reason we cannot go beyond 255. 255 is the maximum we can get because we only have these numbers to work with. Okay? All right. So, any questions on using this chart? We know pretty much how it works. You just add up the numbers that have a 1, and that equals your decimal number, correct? So, there's multiple methods of using this. First, I'm going to show you how to add up to a number, and then I'm going to show you how to subtract to a number. Because it's easy if you have the numbers you need with the ones there, you just got to add them all up, and that's what you get. But to go reverse, go from the decimal number to binary, it's a little tougher. For instance, Math Genius, if I asked you which one was 192, you'd have a little bit harder time than figuring out what is 10, right? So, first I'm going to show you add up to the number. When you add up to the number, you're going to start with 0. And every time you use this chart, you always want to start from left to right. Okay? Never start with the ones. Always start with the bigger numbers. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the numbers on these columns until we get 192. So 0 plus 128 is? It's 128. So 128, now we haven't gone over, so we're going to use it. For instance, if this was the number 10, we'd put a 0 and move on to the next one. But in this case, 192, we're still not there, so we're going to keep adding. So 128 plus 64 is 192. Okay? So we've reached our number there. So are we going to use the rest of these? No. All right. So the binary form is 1, 1. That is the binary form of 192. Okay? All right. Moving along. Next number, it is 210. 210. So we're going to do the exact same process until we find 210. Okay? So we know that these two together is 192 because we just did them, right? This was 0 plus 128, and then 128 plus 64. All right, so 128 plus 64 is 192. Sorry, 192. What you always want to do is you want to carry the answer over here and then add that number to it. Then carry that answer over and then add that number to it. There it is. Okay, that looks better. So 192 plus 32. 224. Did we reach our number? We went over, right? So we cannot use 32. So that's a negative for the 32. So let's carry that 192 over. That's the 192 that was here. So I took it from here, brought it up. It didn't work. So now I'm going to bring it over. So 192 plus 16. 208. Are we there yet? Nope, but we can use it, right? All right, so 208 plus 8. 216. So 8 is too big. 208. And we pretty much know what we're looking for, right? We're looking for 2. So 208 plus 2 would be 210. And we reached our magic number. So now we've got our decimal number, our binary number of 11010010. All right? Now we're going to think of it a little bit different. And the reason I go over this multiple ways to use it, and I don't tell you this is how you do it and this is how you got to learn it, is because we all think different. You know, some of us think in addition, some of us think in subtraction. And whatever works best for you, stick with that. Don't try to learn the other way because that person is faster. For instance, if he's really fast at adding and you're a little better at subtracting, don't try to do it his method because he does it faster. You know, do it the way it works best for you. All right, so now let's look at the subtraction method. Okay, so when we add it up to the number, we start with 0 and we just keep adding until we get our number, right? All right, now the subtraction method, we're going to start with the number and we're going to subtract till we get to 0. Okay, so our number this time is 110. So we're going to start with 110 and we're going to subtract 128. And what do we get? A negative number. It's not right. So we can't use it. So remember, we're trying to get to 0, not beyond it. We have to get exactly 0. So now 110, let's bring that over, minus 64. What do we get? You remember your long math skills? Okay, so 6. What was that? Oh yeah, it is. Sorry. Oh, I just had a brain fart there. All right, 46. Let's carry our 46 over here. Minus 32. What do we get? That's 6. 4. I don't need to carry that over. So that's 6. Well, I'm all lost now. You threw me off, man. Golly. All right, so 46 minus 32, we get 14. So we are going to use it. Then bring that 14 over. Minus 16 would be too much, right? Can't use it. So bring that over here. 14 minus 8. What do we get? 6. So we are going to use it. And then how do we get 6? 4 and 2. So plus 2, we get 6 and 0. There we are. 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. Now, if you ever wanted to verify that, how could you do that? Just add them all up, right? Take 64 plus 32 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2. Add them all together, and you should have the same answer. Okay, you should have 110. 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. Where I got 1, 1, 1. I do have an extra 0 right there. 1, 1, 1, 0. All right. Last one. There has to be an easier way to erase all this. All right, they're gone. So now let's subtract it again. We're going to use the subtraction method again, and we're looking for 198. So again, we start with 198 minus 128, that number right there. What do we get? 7, 8, 9. Yep, 70. So we are going to use it. Let's bring this 70 here. Subtract 64 from it. What do we get? 6. And we know how to get 6, right? 4 and 2 gives us 6. So we're going to use that. We're going to use that. We're going to use that. And if we were questioning ourselves, we'd just take 128 plus 64 plus 8 plus 2. And then that would equal 198. Okay? And then the last number is 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. All right. Any questions on how to use this chart? No? It's pretty simple. Let's move on. Now, the thing about the whole subnetting is that this is just one of the very, very beginning portions of subnetting. Subnetting is still a lot more harder beyond this. So this portion is not even a tenth of what you've got to know for subnetting, or maybe about a tenth. So you've got to be able to do this quick, because your questions on the test aren't going to say, what is this subnetted? They're going to give you a problem, and then you have to subnet it to still find the answer. And to subnet, you still got to do all this other parts in the background. This is only 1/10 of all that questioning. So a while back, a few years ago, I had a student who was just having trouble doing it fast. They could do it, they just took a little longer. So I developed this little chart on top, or I just thought of this little chart on top to make it a little bit quicker. And this little chart on top is pretty easy to make. I just took the same chart in the bottom. This was universal down here. I took 128 up. I added 128 plus 64. That gave me 92. I added 192 plus 32. Gave me 224. 224 plus 16 gave me 240. 240 plus 8 gave me 248. 248 plus 4 gave me 252. Plus 2 gave me 254. Plus 1 gave me 255. Okay? So do we see how to make that chart? It's very, very simple. Now, the other thing is when I made this chart, it was just to find a faster way to do this right here. And I've come to call this the mathematical awesomeness chart. And you will see why, because once I started thinking about it more, I started seeing more patterns in subnetting. Actually, I use this chart for everything. All the way to subnet from a class A all the way down to a class C. And Daryl's like, yeah, he's gone through all of them. So if you ever have a subnetting question, you will be able to do it with zero math. Okay, just looking at this chart. You look at this chart, you're going to know all the answers. Okay, so we're using it here to convert binary to decimal, but later on we're going to use this exact same chart to do the actual subnetting. Okay. All right. So first, we're going to forget about the top part for just a second, and we're going to focus. And we're going to take 0 through 255. We're going to split it in half, and we're going to focus on just the front half of numbers, 0 through 128. which the number 0 through 128 is closest to this bottom line down here. Okay? So now, pick a number between 0 to 128. 68. So there's a couple things you can do whenever you're going to find the number here. First is you'll always want to do, no matter what you do, you always want to find the closest number to it without going over. And that's where you're going to start. Okay? So what's the closest number without going over? 64. Once you've found kind of your beginning base, it's pretty simple from there, especially 68, right? You know, what's missing from 68? 4. So now, the way you just found that out, you did one of two things. You either took 68 and you subtracted 64, and then you found 4, or, and this is kind of a weird way to explain it, what you did is, in your mind, you took 64, and you kind of told yourself, 64 plus what gives me 68? Oh, 64 plus 4 gives me 68. And I've thought about it a lot, and people actually do think that way. Instead of saying, well, the common thing would be to take 68 minus 64, and you got your 4 left over. But actually, I think the other way. I always go 64 plus what gives me 68? Oh, plus 4 gives me 68. Okay. Like I'll add 64 plus 8, 64 plus 4, 64 plus 2 faster than I can do 64 minus 4. I mean, 68 minus 64. Okay. So just kind of know the way you think, because don't change it. The way you think is right. We're just going to work that way. All right. So whenever you're finding any number between 0 through 128, just look at the bottom chart. Because forget about the top one, because the numbers 0 through 128, they'll always be the easiest numbers to find because the numbers are so small. You're dealing with small numbers. As soon as you get your first one on there, it's kind of easy to find the rest of them. Okay. It always becomes harder when you go 128 and higher, which is why y'all picked numbers over 128. Like, I like it because they're all harder numbers. So, all right. So now let's look at the second half, this is where most people get choked up. And when I made this chart, this is why. Because whenever I asked them to, find me 210, we only had these bottom numbers to work with. It just became longer for them, not harder. Just it took longer for them to get it done. So now, if you're looking for a number between 128 to 255, now we are going to focus on this top chart right here. Okay. And anytime you pick a number from that top chart, that means that some addition has already been done for you. For instance, if I go ahead and pick a number between 200 and 255. 212. Okay. So Bertha, what's the closest number to 212 without going over? Yeah. 192 is the closest number without going over. Now, when I use this number, when I pick that number, what am I also picking? Everything in front of it. Okay? Because this plus this equals 192. Okay? So now I have an easier point. I can start either do my subtraction, 212 minus, and don't do the math, just pay attention for a second. You can do 212 plus 192, okay, great. Or you can do 192 plus 16. Now, I want y'all all to pick one of the two. Which one's easiest for you to solve? Huh? What's the easiest for you to solve? What's the easiest for you? Subtraction? For you? Adding. Okay. So whatever you think it's easier for you to solve, now you kind of know how you think. Okay? All right. So what's the answer? First, we'll do the subtraction. So, I'm sorry? You already have it? 208? Or what? 200. I'm just going to do my own. Okay. Okay. That got me in trouble last time. Okay. 9, 10, 11. All right, 20. There it is. I kept hearing 200, 20. I'll do my own, okay? Now this one, 6 plus 2, 8, and then 19, 2, 8. See, I said 208 because I was over there. This, for me, I'm addition. I'm definitely addition. I'm not. You can tell that by now. I'm not subtraction. So, if you do addition, if you're an adding person, anytime you pick a number from the top chart, skip the next one. It's guaranteed. Or else you would have picked 224. Okay? So if you pick a number from the top, skip this one and find out what this one adds up to. And start adding from there. If you're a subtraction person, you're probably more straight thinker, because that would be the logical thing to do. Just take, 192 is subtracted from the number you're looking for, and you're that much closer.
Yeah.
Okay? Good job, bud. So now, for you just got to find 20. It's a little easier for you, right? And what do? 16 and 4. Okay? Once again, just because this is, he just got there like that, that doesn't mean that y'all are wrong and you need to learn this way. Don't. Trust me. Don't try to break the way you think. The way you think's the way you think. This is how I think. I'm on this side. See, he's done. We're not done yet. We're still at 208. And we were looking for 212. All right, so now we have 208. I'm sorry? So addition people, whenever you took 192 and you added 16, you got 208. Now from there you can probably subtract 212 from 208 pretty easily, or just find what's missing. And what would be missing? 4. Okay? So find the 4. 208 plus 4 equals 212. And you're there. All right? All right. Exercise time. I'm going to pick a number for you. And you're going to have to find the solution. The number is 239. 239. So you got your chart. I'll give you the first step. The first step is to find the closest number to 239 without going over. All right, let's work it out. So I'm going to pick on you now, Bertha, okay? Is that okay? All right. So what's the closest number to 239 without going over? 224. Now, when I pick 224, what else do I pick? I'm going to pick all of these numbers. Because if you take 128 plus 64 plus 32, that's going to give me 224. All right? So I automatically start right there. All right. So now, are you an addition person or subtraction person? Addition person. So what are you going to do? What's your next step? Add what? That's right. Anytime you add, you pick this number, put a 0 there, and then find out what 224 plus 8 equals. And what's that? $232. Okay. So we're going to use it? Are we going to use 8? Yes, we are. All right. So now you can do a couple of things. You can do 239 minus 232. But since you're an addition person, you're probably going to go 232 plus 4 gives you what? 232 plus 4 gives you 36. Are we going to use it? Next step, 236 plus 2. 2. 238. Are we there yet? So 238 plus 1. 239. And we're there. We reached our magic number. Sorry, forgot to turn it on. Okay? Now, Chris, you're a subtraction person, right? And I'm glad we have a subtraction person here. For many reasons. But one is to kind of show the difference of how the persons think. So, Chris, when you got 220, because you did this, right? You found 224 and turned everything on? Okay. So you got, I forgot what was our number. What was our number? 239. All right. So you got 239 and you subtracted 224 from it, right? 224. And then what'd you get? I'm not even going to try it. I'm just going to trust you, okay? 15. So then did you just find out what added to 15? So you said 8 plus 4, 2, plus, okay, that's 15, and you were done. Okay. So, people who subtract usually are done a little quicker, just because that's the shortest path. But it doesn't mean that's the right way or the wrong way. You know, that's just the way they think. Okay, we're going to stick with what works with us. The reason I show you this is because there's more ways to do this than you can count. I mean, there's tons of ways to do this. This, what we're doing right now, is kind of like a mixed way, call it Jay's way, because you're using kind of like that little chart on top to make the work less, to make it more efficient. All right, another exercise. We ready? We'll do one exercise and I'll show you a couple more methods. The number is 31. All right, so everyone got the answer, right? Whether you went addition or subtraction, you found the answer. And this is the answer right there. All right, now, which brings us to a new way, and I bring this in a little later, but we've talked about addition and we've talked about subtraction and we talked about Jay's way, the way you kind of mix it up. You find the closest number, then you move forward from there. We'll talk about quick subtract in just a second. This one's one that I was supposed to talk about a little later, but I'll go ahead and we'll talk about it now. Patterns. Okay? So this is actually a pattern. Actually, I knew this without even looking, without doing any addition or subtraction. Do you see 31 related anywhere to it? No? I'm going to show you what I see. I see 32 minus 1 equals everything else beyond that. Okay? So let's test that theory. What does this equal to? Right there. Did you do the math or did you just
No, I actually
subtract?
subtracted 1 from A.
Yeah. If you do 4, 5, 6, 7 is one less number than this guy right here. 8 minus 1 equals 7. Okay? So, you math people are going to like this. If I showed you a number that looked like this, what would be the... Now, don't tell me what the answer is. Tell me what's the easiest way to get there. What's the problem that you would do? Remember in school when you did your homework and they said, show your work? I don't care about the answer. I just want you to show me your work. Okay? So what would you do to find the answer there? Add 192 plus 7. You have 192 here, and then you've got 7, right there. So that's kind of like a faster way even still to find different answers. All right? We did talk about pattern that you can kind of see. Do you need any math to figure out that answer? What's the answer? 255. That's correct, because all of them added together equal 255, which brings up quick subtract. Okay. If I asked you to find 252, what could you do? Show your work.
Subtract it from 255.
Oh, sorry. 255 minus 252 gives you what?
3.
So?
Knock off 2.
And you're done. Okay? So that's just a quick subtract. Whenever you get this high up to the number, then it's pretty simply just subtract it from 255 and remove what's left over. Okay? All right. All right, another exercise. You ready? This time, we're going to do it backwards. What is this in decimal form? You got it? So show your work. What'd you do? You just added 128 plus 64 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. Did you do anything different? So you took 192 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. What did you do? Yeah? You did the same thing? What did you do? So he took 255 minus 32. Is that what you did? They're all right. Everyone, Dara, what did you do? 192.
192 plus 31.
Okay.
So I'm gonna add it.
Regardless of what you do, you've got the right answer. Okay. So, all right. So there's, like I said, there's tons of way to do this, and everybody sees it different. Okay. As you work a lot more with this, you'll start kind of seeing how you find it faster, and that's the important thing. As long as you're finding it, I mean, obviously finding the right answer is important, but finding it fast, finding it quickly. Okay. The only way to get quicker at this is to just do it, just practice. You know, just get with somebody and just throw numbers at each other, or just make up numbers and go from there. Now, if you're doing it by yourself, there's an easy way to verify your work. If you go to if you go to Start, and then you go to the calculator, right there, it will be more than anything, it will be in the standard view like this, right? And our number was 232, right? There it is. And now you want to see what it looks like in binary form. First thing you got to do is change it to programmer. There it is. Now in Windows XP there's only two views. There's scientific and then there's the standard. But in Windows 7 you've got multiple views, and you go to programmer right there. And you see that you're in decimal form. And my decimal number is 232. And I want to know what is it in binary. And there it is right there. Okay? So, cheater. So, another thing you kind of got to be careful with is, let's say I want the number. Where's my clear? Clear. Back to decimal. Let's just do 64. How about that? Binary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice there's not enough digits there. The calculator just knocks off the numbers in the front. So all you got to do is just add 0. Correct. Just add zeros in the front till you get 8 numbers. That's the only thing you've got to be careful with this calculator, because we'll always start from left to right. So we're like, no, the answer starts with 1, but in reality the answer started with 2 zeros. So, okay. So we talked about add up to a number. We just start at 0, we add up till we get to our number. We talked about subtract to a number. We start at the number we're looking for, and we keep subtracting until we get to 0. We talked about the quick subtract, where you take 255 minus the number you're looking for and negate what's missing. And then the J's way, I didn't have a name for it, but the J's way is just whenever you pick from the top and you kind of mix and match and make it, get to it using the double chart. Okay. The next thing we're going to see is the next patterns. Good. The next thing we're going to talk about is patterns. Okay, which is, I think, the way you were going to. All right. So you're going to realize that there's a lot of patterns in here. I mean, we already know 2 of them, right? If I put all zeros, we already know that's a 0. That's a pattern. If we put all ones, we know that's 255. Okay. Now, a couple other things among this is that we know that 1's going to be the number that makes it odd, right? The other thing is that the numbers themselves going across actually have a pattern. For instance, if I'm looking for the number 7, what would be the answer to number 7? 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Is this what you were talking about? Good. Okay. So 7 here is one number less than 8. You see that? 8 minus 1 would equal 7, so everything to the right of that is 7. So what do you think this number is? 15. 1 less than 16 is 15. What do you think this number is? 31. And this number? And then this number? 127. That's when you realized it, right? When you had 127 was everything except for 128. Okay, so there's a pattern there. Sometimes you can even mix and match these guys. For instance, what if I told you that we're looking for the answer to this right here? Don't tell me the answer. Tell me, how would you get to the answer? This equals what? It equals 192. What does this equal? 7. So that's what I was looking for. 192 plus 7. makes it a little faster to work through. No? Okay. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. If you have a 0 in the beginning, just forget about the line on top. Just don't even look at it. It doesn't exist.
Oh, okay, so you only consider the top line
When you have ones non-stop. For instance, if I have this, what's the answer? 252. Okay. You could have also just done 255 minus 3, gives you the same answer. That's the quick subtract. Okay. If I had this, is that still 252? No. This is 192 right here, so that's 192, right? And then what is this? This is 16 plus 8 plus 4. 16, 28. What's that? 28? So 192 plus 28 will give me the correct answer. Okay? And then that's what I was saying earlier. So, I think I have an easier way. Let's see here. Edit, clear. Okay. All right, so if I had, we know that that is what? 248. And what if I had this? What does that equal right there? So 3 plus 248 will give me the right answer. Another right answer would be what? 255 minus 4. That would also give me the right answer. Okay? It just depends on you, whichever one you see first. Yeah. That's the negate. That's when you do the quick subtract.
Also, wherever the 0 is,
Mm-hmm. You subtract it from 255. Okay? Because if they're all ones, it equals 255. Okay? That's a little quicker. All right, so what if I have, show me your work. What would you do to get the answer? Don't tell me what the answer is. What would you do to get the answer? Okay, what would you do? Same thing?
I will add 192 plus 16 plus 8.
Okay, so so first one that you two said was 255 minus 32, right? Then you said you would add 192. Whoa, I don't know what that is. You would add 192 plus 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. What would you do?
I'm with her.
You with her? What did you do? You do the quick subtract? Okay. Mayor, what would you do? That's what I would do.
192 plus 16.
31. That's what I would do.
31. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
I'm an addition person, so this quick subtract, it didn't quite work for me very well.
It's still easy to do the quick.
It is, and especially if you've got that kind of thing. Like I said, if you're a subtractor, you're thinking the right way. That's the easiest, truly the easiest way to get to it. But I'm not a subtractor. I'm an adder. So I don't even try to subtract. I just go straight 192 plus 31. That's going to be easier for me.
Where did you get the 31 from?
32 minus 4.
32 minus 1. Oh, okay.
Remember that trick? Yes.
Yeah, but that subtraction only works if you have one number to subtract. Let's say you have another one. Let's say instead of
Okay.
8.
I see what you're saying, but we're not quite there yet. I'm trying to show you patterns. Okay. So, but I'm trying to show you to get to the work faster. Okay. I see that you can add and subtract. We're not here to learn how to add and subtract. We're here to kind of figure this thing out a little faster. Okay? All right, so let's go with what Bertha's saying. Your quick subtract nonsense works pretty easy if you just got 1 0, right? So what you're saying is, what if you've got a couple zeros in there? Show your work. What would you do?
Just take 32 out of 4 and
Okay, so what you would do is you would take 32 plus 4, which would give you 36, and then subtract that from 255. Once again, the subtractor has the fastest way to get there, but that's just the way your brain works. I will see this a lot where people say, well, that is a fast way to get there, and they try to train themselves to think that way. I'm telling you, don't. Okay, don't do that. Okay, if you see it, great, use it. That's what we're here for, to find out what works for us. There's not one way to do this. There's a million ways to do this. Whatever works best for you, we'll use that way. Me, I can't do that. I have to do the 192 plus 3 plus these numbers over here, and I'll get to them just as quick.
So by
Okay.
Basically, you're taking out the zeros together.
Yeah, in this case, they're doing the quick subtract. But to get the number to subtract, they added the zeros. Yes.
In my mind, like, I see the ones, like, if there's more ones, then I'll take the zeros out together and subtract it.
Correct.
If there's more zeros, I'll take the ones out together and add them.
Correct.
That's what I do.
And that's the easiest way to get there. And in reality, if you ever want to verify yourself, just add up all the ones. Don't matter what it is, add up all the ones. They'll give you the right answer.
That's what I was looking for.
I'm sorry?
6.
6? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, so if you're ever looking to verify, no matter what method you use, if you just add up all the ones, it's going to give you the right answer. Okay. What method would you use to find the answer?
Well, like he said, it makes sense. If you have only 1 0, that would be the easiest way. But if you have
Okay, but
more
forget about what he said here. If you saw this number right there and I told you solve it, go. What would you do? You would add.
192 plus
You would add
16,
192 plus 16 plus 8 plus
2 and 1.
2 and 1. Oh, you just can't get my little trick at the end. Yeah.
For me, I do 255 minus 36. I mean, that's what.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
the
because it'd be.
what would you do? Same thing? Same thing? Okay, you three need to settle together over there then. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Kim, what would you do? Add all the ones, just 128 plus 64 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4, plus 2 plus 1? Okay.
So I think my thing is the higher the number I subtract, the
Okay.
lower the number.
Okay, smarty pants. Let's see what's...
Yeah.
All right,
I would
so...
add it going the opposite direction.
Like for instance here, what would you do there?
I would add.
Just add up all the ones. Right? So 16 plus 8 plus 2 plus 1. That'd be the easiest. You would take what?
31 and subtract 4.
Okay, I can see that. Take 31 minus 4. Also give you the same answer. Okay, so you're starting to see it. That's the pattern. That's the whole thing we're talking about right now. The faster you can get to the answers, the better. Because remember, what percentage is this of subnetting? 1%. We still got the actual hard work to do. All right. So there they are. There's the multiple methods to get to an answer. You can just add up all the numbers to get to your number. Subtract to 0. Do the quick subtract. The mixed way, I just call it J's way. I don't know what other thing to call it. And then the pattern where you just see ones and zeros and you just grab them out of the air and put them together and get to your answer. All right. So one more exercise. Ready? Gave you a hard number there. Thank you for volunteering. All right. So what's the first step to do, Kim?
I'm going to find out.
First of all, wait. What kind of a problem are you going to use? Are you going to do the add up, subtract, quick, J's way, or the pattern? All right. So what's the closest number to 167?
190.
Well, but that's going over though.
128.
Yeah, 128. So in this case, J's way doesn't really work because there's only one in the front. Whenever you choose from the top chart, that's J's way. All right. So now what we're really going to do is add up to the number. All right. So we've got 128. Then what's the next step? Show your work.
I'm going to add.
Okay. If you add 64 to it, let's take 128 plus 64. What would we get there?
190.
You'll eventually see it. That's why I'm just going to let you work through this for now. All right, so we've got 192. Is 192 over our number of 167? Yes? Okay. So we can't use it, right? All right, so then what's our next step?
192 plus 32.
No, because we can't use 192, which means we're not going to use this number right here.
128.
We're going to take that 128, we're going to slide it right over. So 128 plus 32 will give us 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 160, are we over? So can we use it? Yes. All right, so then what's the next step? Kim?
128 plus
No, we just.
160, I'm sorry.
That's right. That's right. So we can take this 160. Okay. Plus 16. What are we going to get? Are we over? So can we use it? All right, so we can't use 16. So what's our next step?
160 plus 8.
So 160 plus 8 will give me.
168.
Am I over? Yes, I am. So can I use it? No. So what's my next step?
Take 160. Well, you can't count and slide over to the 1.
Was that?
Can you go straight to 1?
What number am I looking for?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Never mind. Thank you.
That's okay. It's okay.
160 plus. Well, the 4, 2, and the 1 that's total up to 7.
Okay, good. You saw that.
Can't you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So whatever gets you there quicker is fine. Okay. Just don't rush through it. However long it takes, how long it takes. The important thing is to get the right answer, because this is 1% of it, right? Of the subnetting. But this is the first 1%. So if you get this wrong, guess what? Everything else is going to be wrong along the way. Okay. All right. So we've got our right answer. All right. Ready for another one? Yeah, I know what the answer is.
But then you remember that, I remember that, like, if it's 1 up into 0, it'd be 15.
So you,
16.
so you know this is 15 right here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then I put a 0 over 16 is, and I said, okay, it's the ones after that.
And then what'd you do next?
One less.
Ones,
What?
Like, I did the other, like, and then 1 on the other side.
right, get one over. Yeah.
But I mean, so what'd you do first? What was your first step in your head?
First, like, I took the 239 and then I left it to 240. And then, like, the first step in my head was after that.
Like, first thing we heard was like, there's a pattern there. I know there is.
Like, I know it's 1 less. And so since 16 plus 224 would be 240, I took 1 less than 16, which would, if you come up from that direction, which would be 15, like, and their ones and all that.
Okay. Does anybody see the pattern yet?
Like, I'm not very good at explaining.
Okay.
Which pattern?
That 1 less than 240 is 239.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
I saw that,
saw
but
that.
I got
So I
lost.
do like a 0.
So what you have to do is just put a 0 there. Okay. All right. So this was kind of harder to see because there's 3 layers here, and you start getting confused between all these numbers.
Which is exactly what I was saying earlier. Yeah.
We don't need 16. That's it. 255 minus 239, 16. We don't need 16. Put a 0 in 16 and everything else will be.
So that's the quick subtract right here. Whoa, right there. Quick subtract 255 minus 39, 16. Get rid of the 16.
Right, that's what I did.
All right, ready for another one? All right, I'm gonna talk about this way again because it's most of the time it's the easiest way to get an answer. Step 1. What is step 1 Jay's way? Anybody? Find the number closest to our number, and our number is. Oh yeah, sorry. I forgot it was 229. I was like, wait a minute. All right. Find closest number. What's step number 2? Put ones up to that number. Ones up to our number. What's step number 3? 0 in front. What's step number 4? For you addition people? 224 plus the number in front of the 0. Okay? Always do that. You do that and you're off to a good start. Okay? And then decide whether you use it or not. So 229. Oh, not 229. 224 plus 8 gives me, okay, oh, I forgot to write number 4. Step number 4 was add number to number in front of 0. All right, so back to down here. So 224 plus 8, 232. Am I over? What number am I looking for? 229? I am over, so can I use it? All right, so take that 224, slide it over. 224 plus 4. Can I use it? I'm looking for one more. 229. Okay? So Kim, just remember these 4 steps and write them out. Find the number closest. Put ones up to that number. Put a 0 in front, and then add the number on top bar to the number in front of the 0 on the lower bar. Okay? All right. One more? Sure, why not? We got this. So, you can always find the closest number without going over, which is 16, right? But when we pick a number in the lower bar, instead of putting ones all in front, we put zeros all in front. So we're going to use 16. So what's the next step? What'd you do next?
I didn't really do it that way, but you could add 8 to it. 16 plus 8.
Okay, so take that 16. What'd you get? Can you use it? 24 plus 4. That's 28. Can you use it? And then plus 1. 29. Okay. Well, so you say you did something different?
Well, I did I was like 31.
1v1.
Yeah, you did 31 minus 2.
1v1.
So you did 30. Okay, I see what you did. So you got patterns all over this thing. So you did, you know that's 31. Okay, so you took 31 minus 29, didn't you?
Yeah.
To find 2? Oh, I put a 0 down there. So you find out what's the difference between 31 to 29, which was 2, and just put the 0 there.
Or 29 minus 16.
What?
I did the 29 and minus 16, and then I moved from 13.
Oh, okay. You did the subtraction. You did this method right here, right? So you took 29 minus 16 right here. We gave you 13, so you are going to use it. And then 13 minus 8, which were, and then so on and so on and so on, and keep going. Okay? So yes, 4 and 5, and then no. So same answer, different way to get there. Okay? Any questions? No? All right. Well, that concludes this lecture.